Well, good evening everyone and welcome back to another little news update here from Tenerife. This will be a little bit of a general update. There's a few questions that I'm getting asked this week with regards to restrictions, COVID, etc. that they've read. So I'm going to try and break that down for you a little bit and simplify a few things that I'm being asked quite often in messages. If you are new to the channel, a big welcome. We do have little regular updates on this channel as regards to the Canary Islands, Tenerife. So do check out the other videos. If you're coming back, welcome back. I hope this information does help you if you're on your way over for this summer. So I'm going to jump right into it now. So this has caused a little bit of confusion. We have seen an increase in COVID cases over here. It was bound to happen with Carnival just a couple of weeks ago. Various different events, parties. There was a big one in a decade the other day as well. So COVID rates have gone up. That means that Tenerife has joined Gran Canaria at alert level 2 due to those risks of COVID, those higher levels. The Ministry of Health has updated the health alert levels after the reports of all the data that was collected, everything like that. The pressure that's on the hospitals, remember they do measure it a little bit differently now. It's not just case numbers, it's pressures on ICU beds, various different factors. So we have risen to alert level 2. Now a lot of people are thinking, well, we're back into alert level 2, all those restrictions that were in level 2 will come back. I just wanted to stress it's completely different to those old levels that we had. Just saying here and in the Canarian Weekly, it is important to understand that these alert levels are different than the ones that dictated the restrictions on group sizes, capacities, closing times. They were shelved a little while ago. This system is just to evaluate the risk. There are 5 levels, 0 to 4, that assesses the spread and the incidence rate of the virus. And it does regulate whether it's low, medium, high, very high risk. So a few people were messaging me saying, oh, we're in the alert level 2 again, have I got to wear my mask again, things like that. Completely separate. So it does say that we're in level 2. That's just so you know what sort of risk level it is. There are still no new restrictions. The current restrictions are just that you've got to wear a mask in pharmacies, hospitals, doctors, and also on public transport. So your buses and your taxis, you've got to wear a mask there. But other than that, there are no new restrictions. We're not back into those old levels, as I've just mentioned. If you are travelling over from the UK, the same rules do still apply. You've got to be fully vaccinated. If your second vaccination is older than 270 days, you need to have had the booster. If you've got those, all you do is show them on your phone, the NHS app, when you land at the airport. If you haven't got those, you need to have either a negative PCR test or a negative antigen test to enter. That can't be one that you do at home, one of the old NHS ones. It's got to be a proper fit to fly one where you get a certificate sent to you by email to show that you're negative and your name. When you come in, I've spoken to a few people that have used the e-gates. I mentioned that in the last update a few days ago. The UK passengers now can use those e-gates even though they're not from the EU anymore. A few people have said, well, what about getting your passport stamped? That's got to be done. That is done after you go through the e-gate. So you pass through the e-gate, then you'll quickly stop at a cabin with a police officer and they will stamp the date in your passport. So a few people did ask me about that. Staying on that topic, there is warnings of major chaos at Canarian airports this summer. Exceltor, the Alliance of Tourism, are warning that major chaos at Spanish airports this summer, especially those that receive the highest number of British tourists. So the likes of Tenerife South there, they are saying it's going to be very, very busy. They've described the word chaos as a strong explosion in demand to travel that will be noticed in those airports, especially the arrivals of British tourists. So basically what I mentioned in those last few updates, expect a few delays, expect to wait a little while. You know, you might have to get off, get onto the bus, then wait in a little queue to go through passport control, but you never know. Expect the worst, hope for the best. A lot of people I've spoken to recently have sailed through the airport. They've picked up their cars, picked up their bus transfer, their taxi, and they're getting to the hotels within about 30-40 minutes. So expect the worst, expect to, you know, wait in a few queues, but hope for the best. I do think the airport is definitely going to get busier once the kids break up around the 15th, 16th of July. I think we're going to see it get really, really busy up there. In terms of travelling back to the UK, I still would get there 2 hours at least, 2.5 hours before just to give yourself plenty of time. But with that new section being open, again, I'm always asking people, the people that have travelled through that new terminal, travelled out of it, they've been through security very fast. My sister and her husband and little Jude, the baby, sailed through there the other day. They were checked in, dropped the bag, checked in, through security within 20 minutes. So it does seem to be making a good difference, the new section at the terminal there, which is fantastic. The little bits of news to run through. If you're here this weekend, we are expecting temperatures of 40 degrees. It's going to be hot. You might see it's a little bit hazy this evening. We have got a Kalima rolling in. It's been about 30 degrees today, but it's going to get hotter over the weekend. So if you're here, be very careful, plenty of water, take a hat, wear a t-shirt, wear a shirt, and plenty of sun cream. Layer it up there. It's very easy to burn. I put 3 layers of 50 on yesterday and still got a little bit burnt. It's extremely strong, the sun, but dehydration is a massive factor. Plenty of water, more than you normally would over this next weekend. It is going to be extremely hot, so do take care of yourselves, take a few extra precautions, because you will notice it. It's very, very hot, and it also goes very, very dry over here as well. It's a very dry heat. Next little thing to mention is that Ryanair have said that the age of cheap air travel is over. Flight prices will rise for the next 5 years because tickets are simply too cheap. Fares less than a train ticket to the airport are absurd. So it looks like the cheap flights with Ryanair might be finishing, but I'm sure he said that before and it doesn't seem to happen. So we will see what happens with that one. Speaking of flights, Jet2 as well, they have had a few issues lately. One of my clients did get all the way to the airport, checked in, got through the airport, they were in the departures area, ready for the flight. They noticed when they arrived at the airport, loads of buses lined up outside, and then while they were waiting to get on the flight, they had a text, your flight's cancelled. They all had to go back out of the airport, everyone had to put their duty free back, all on the buses, and the flight was off. So as I've mentioned earlier, all the flights are struggling. I don't think any airline is particularly safe. They're all delayed, cancelled. My sister travelled with Ryanair the other day, they were delayed as well. So again, hope for the best, expect the worst with the flights. Other quick thing just to mention, I've noticed it myself, these scooters that are out and about, the little electric stand-on scooters, love them, hate them, whatever your opinion on them are. They are whizzing across the roads. I have nearly knocked a couple off, being perfectly honest. But they are saying here that fines of up to €1,000 can be handed out to electric scooter riders for various reasons. I've mentioned it before, if you're going to rent those scooters, fair enough, good fun, but you are meant to have a helmet on. You can't use your mobile phone while you're on them. There's various different rules. You can't have 2 people on them. So I do think a clampdown will come, because I think there's been some very close calls of people nearly being knocked off, and it is out and about there. It's getting a little bit risky, but I do think they will eventually have a clampdown once someone does get hurt on them. If you're going to rent them, just be careful. As I said, you're meant to have a helmet. They can fine you for that. Can't be on your mobile phone looking at directions. There is various rules of the road that you're meant to follow as well, so just be careful. I did notice there was at 1 or 2 shops, a couple of excursion shops that were renting the scooters, and they came with a helmet, they came with some instructions, whereas the ones that are on the street that you use with your phone, there's no helmet provided with them, so just bear that in mind. Yeah, I do feel a little clampdown on them might be on the way, because I've seen some very close calls being out and about, delivering the cars in the daytime, in the morning. Everyone's out and about on them, having a great time, but some of them are taking a few risks, cutting across the road and bits and bobs. So if you're going to do them, do be very careful. Other than that, weather is fantastic, very hot. Bars, restaurants nice and busy. We are out and about again tonight with the family, so plenty more vlogs on the way. Siam Park at night vlog is now on the channel, so make sure you check that out. That is fantastic, really good night that is, if you're interested in that. But for now, I hope you did enjoy that. I hope it does help. Please do hit the thumbs up button. Drop your comments down below. If I did miss anything or anything important, always drop it in the comments. We read them, we do check through them, and it might get mentioned on the next update. So any information I've missed, drop it down below. Thank you very much. Stride on and travel safe. Have a fantastic time if you're coming over, and enjoy. Stride on.